Hello, family. Welcome to my channel. This is Irrefutable Faith. My name is Oliver Ndlwana. And so thank you. If this is the first time you come to my channel, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. So I thank God for this opportunity just to share some of the things that I feel are important in life. And don't worry, in today's video, I'm not going to bore you with a lot of things, but I just want to speak to you about something that God has just revealed to me recently, something that has transformed my life, and something that I believe whatever we are going to be discussing today is going to be helpful to a lot of people. It's going to set a lot of people free and help people find joy and peace in their lives. Because that is the goal of the gospel. The gospel is the good news, and it comes to bring joy and peace in our own lives. And the intention of the gospel is not to bind people, but to bring freedom to people so that people can live life with joy and happiness. So I hope that the Lord in today's video is gonna help you find that. So I'm sure you have seen the title of this video, A Born Again Slave, and you're probably wondering if such a thing exists. Is there such a thing as a born again slave? Is it possible that I can be born again and still be a slave? Because I mean, the message of the gospel is a message of freedom, and Christ came to set us free. He said in the book of John, whoever the Son sets free is free indeed. So, but the question still stands: is it possible that one can be a Christian, a born again Christian, and still be a slave? And the answer is yes. And I say this because I was a slave, a born again slave, and I will share more of this as we continue with this. But it is possible. When a person is bound, or when a person is bound, there are two areas that people are bound. First of all is their bodies and also their minds. So when an enemy captures you, they capture first of all your body, and then they capture your mind. You can think about colonization as we know it in the country. When the white people came here, they didn't just come here and bind us and get us to work for them, but they also changed the way that we think. They changed our mindset, they changed how we think. And so, and most people will argue. I remember I read this quote by this Zimbabwean, I think he's a former Zimbabwean politician. He said something like along the lines of, my greatest lesson in life came late in life. He said, and this is the lesson, that a country can be set free while its people are still not free. And so as much as there is physical freedom, there's also mental freedom, and those two things go hand in hand. You can be set free in the physical, but then still be bound in the mind. And a good example is the children of Israel, that God set them free from Egypt, but the Bible does tell us that in their minds and in their hearts they went back to Egypt. So even though their physical bodies were set free, their minds were still bound. Their minds were still in captivity. They couldn't see the freedom of God. So then the Bible tells us that they could not enter the promised land. So their minds were back in Egypt while their bodies were free. And so it can be a case and that your body has been set free. Your body has been set free by the gospel, but your mind is still bound. Your mind is still in prison. Your mind is still in prison. And this is something that happens. I see this a lot, and something that I personally experienced. And I want to share this with you in a way that you will understand and can relate to. The relationship between a slave and a master, it's a relationship of obligation, right? The master says something, and then the slave has to do that. The master commands the slave, and the slave has to obey. And the slave doesn't have much of a choice. The slave does not act out of, they don't obey out of love, but they obey because they have to obey because the master is speaking. So there is no relationship between the master and the slave. There is no love relationship between a master and a slave. So whatever the slave does, they do to earn the approval of the master. So they have to keep on doing things so that the master can be pleased. And so that is the relationship between a master and a slave. And certainly most of us, we view our Christian relationship or our relationship with God in this way. That somehow God is looking upon us and saying there are certain things that we must do so that he can be pleased with us. So we live in that kind of, in that place where we want to do certain things because we want to please God. We want the approval of God. And you keep on doing things. And this is why most people end up living or feeling depressed and discouraged, because they think, I'm doing a lot of things for God, but it doesn't seem like God is looking at me. I'm doing all these things. I work hard for God just to get his approval, just to show me how much he loves me. And no matter what I do, it seems like God never hears me. It seems like God is not listening to me. And here's the problem, my brother. Here's the problem, my sister. You cannot earn something that has already been given to you. And I've been all my life trying to earn the love of God. I was caught up in this circle. And the problem with this is that, you always think that when I do this thing, God is going to be pleased with me, or I'm going to feel peace and joy. And you do it, you don't get there, and you think, I need to do another thing to get peace and joy, and you don't feel that peace. Instead, you feel guilt. Instead, you don't have peace because you are trying to earn something that God has given you freely.
Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.